Alright, so we're back. In this video, we're triple checking all of my dimensions. We're setting a solar panel in each one of these to make sure. We're also trying to figure out the gap, how far away these struts are going to be from the roof. We're going to see how much it flexes and all of that. But we're going to drill every single hole in the 90-degree rail so that the rails are completely done, hopefully. You can do us a favor. If you're loving this build series, you can like the video, you can subscribe to the channel, and comment down below. That really helps out the channel, so we really appreciate it. All right, so on to the next step. So the pieces we just cut, the double pieces, I'm gonna start setting them out, and I have a mocked up solar panel over there with the mounts already on it. I'm gonna set that in, and then I'm gonna figure out where the height needs to be on that, so then I can try to mark it on this, because we still need to drill all the holes for the side pieces, and then we still need to drill all the holes for the mounting. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay those out, stick the solar panel on, see what kind of gaps I got, and roughly lay everything out all the way down to make sure I'm good on my length. It's okay to keep setting stuff out before you drill and before you cut. You know, be 100% confident of what you're drilling and what you're cutting. Also, I'm standing precariously on a ladder. I was realizing from the view of the camera, it kind of just looks like this isn't very high up, but it's pretty high up, so. All right, so right here, I'm just triple checking everything. I'm setting all of the doubled strut onto the roof, laying it out, and then I'm gonna put that mocked up solar panel and just start spacing everything out so that I'm confident that I've got all the dimensions correct, and then I eventually figure out the height that I want these center rails to be, these 4 center rails. Ooh, that was tiring, getting up and down. So I just roughly kind of banged these out, and a few things that I learned was I don't want this bar touching, and I don't want it within a half an inch of touching. Once the weight of the solar panels and then just air hitting it, I don't want to hear any as we're going down the road. I've come to the conclusion that I probably just need to make these flush, and by making it flush, it does a few things. It helps me not to have another dimension this way. I just have to go pretty much 15 millimeter down, and I'm dead on the holes. So that's nice. So I'm excited about that. It does leave I don't know if you could see it, right about there. It does leave a bit of a gap, but I think once everything settles, also the T-slot that are going in here, they kind of really need to be on center so that it can spin around properly. And as I kind of move this panel from section to section going down, when I got to the last, I was a little bit off, so I have to make this as tight as possible or it's not gonna work. So there's that. I'm gonna have to make it like super, 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 super tight. I don't know if I'll get into the point where I have to open up these holes, but that is a possibility. To condense it down more, because you could see it has about 100 thousandths right there that I could go in. And right there. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you do it times 5 going that way, it's a lot. It'll be more than enough. So I don't want to do that, but we'll see if I need to do that. The other thing that's kind of cool is this has got a bit of an angle to it. You can see it's below, then it's above. So wind coming over here will have a tendency to want to push this down, which I like. So we're keeping it on the roof, and wind's not getting underneath here and trying to rip it off, or at least hopefully not. Okay, so I basically know where these need to go. So the next step is what these holes are gonna be. Now I'll get down and I'll walk you into the bathroom and show you. But basically, there's beams going across, and I have some really big self-threading screws that I had the special order that I'm going to run through here, but this is also going to be construction adhesive down. On the edge, I'll probably put some, I think it's called butyl tape. So I'll probably put that, but I think that's what we're gonna do for this. Again, I gotta just make sure that I have this measurement as tight as possible. Otherwise, if it's not and I get to the end and the panel doesn't fit, either I'm gonna have to make some special brackets, which is not the end of the world, or I'm gonna have to slot every hole on the way down, which is not ideal. But I've always wanted as many panels as I could fit, and we're going all the way to the edge, and this is all I have left. Not too bad. I could actually put like a little bit of a spoiler here or something if I wanted to. Anyways, that'll be a future project. Now it'll be about getting this panel off and then starting to mark out the holes for the for this. I might double check a couple measurements on this, but I think we're prepared to move forward. I'm definitely probably just gonna, since it's only 2 bolts, I'm just gonna take this off and then I'll do all the holes down there. Those scrap pieces are already coming in handy to keep this thing level. So that's pretty cool, but all right. Okay, so I'm in the bathroom. I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna try to anchor into. So there's these beams, steel. There's actually some angle iron going across. So this is what I'm going to use. This is a 5/16 self-drilling, self-tapping bolt. And I'm going to try to come through, let me see which is a better side for light. I'm going to try to come through here and then through this and then end up in the wall somewhere. So the bolts will be threaded through this and through this. This is sheet aluminum, I believe. So that's what I'm aiming for, is to do that, to go straight through. We'll just see how it goes, but I'm gonna go up on top and show you how I'm gonna try to locate these beams on the top of this. All right, so I'm on top now. I did go through and line all these up, kind of taped them down, because if you'll notice when I was measuring them, like I'd move this side, that side would move, and then I'd move that side, this side would move. So I lined up one side, and between the center of this hole and this hole, it's exactly 28 between each one, including the end. I think I have about a 1/16 of an inch of play, or else this stuff won't fit. So these holes got to be pretty accurate, or got to have enough slop in them for it to work. Okay, so the studs. How am I finding the studs? Well, you could push. I even tried a stud finder, and it sometimes finds it, like right there, kind of found it. But the method that I found that works even better, now this only works because the top of this is non-ferrous, is I got some neodymium magnets. This is just like a coin holder. I just have them in here so the because if you just leave these out, they collect so much, like just dirt, all ferrous metals. But watch this. So where's that stud? Where's that stud? There's that stud. So the stud is pretty thick. It's like an inch thick. So what I found was moving it over about 1/4 of an inch. That kind of puts you in the center, because if you come back this way, see, now I'm more over this way. So about 1/4 inch over. So I put a tape mark exactly where that's at. I measured, they are exactly 24 inch on center. The only stud I could really see was this one, which is right as you open the bathroom door. So I could see that one, and I could see the one down there. I went 24 inches from there and then verified it with this, and then 24 inches from there, verified it with this, that it's right there. So probably what I'll do is this hole, which is where this is gonna go, is probably gonna be slightly bigger so that I have enough play, like if the hole's slightly this way or slightly this way, or like the dead center of the top of that. Because probably what I'll do is I'll pre-drill this hole, and then once this is back up here, I'll run this through the first one, or at least mark it, and then I'll run a normal drill through, maybe even a drill all the way through, and then let this do the last little bit of bite. Because if I leave this spinning, after it plunges through part of that metal, this part of the threads will just be completely gone. And then once it gets to the next part, this part will be gone. So it'd be better if I left the hole still a little bit tight, but then ran this through, pressing down really hard with a bunch of torque on the screwdriver. So now what I'm gonna do is measure the other side. These are good, but I'm just gonna measure the other side about these, because I'm not positive that those beams are in the same spots as they are on this side. There's a possibility, because everything on this trailer has been kind of wonky in a way. It's not exactly square. I'm gonna just go over there, try to verify, put up some pieces of tape so that I can loosely gauge where everything's at. Okay, so I marked the other side as much as I could. See, I tried all different kinds of magnets. I tried the magnets on this little level right here. You could kind of feel it, but not like the other one. All right, and I also marked right here because I gotta trim that off. I might also put a radius on these just so they look better. The other thing that's gonna be pretty cool, the fact that the solar panel right here is gonna be lower than this. So if I'm driving into something and if something hits, it's gonna be this before it's the solar panels. So hopefully at that point I'll back out. I'll probably double check to make sure that these are correct with the other side. I also put a piece of tape right here. That's exactly the end of it, so I'll know that reference point when I put it back on. But for now, I'm gonna unbolt this and pull it off and then start marking out the holes and start drilling all the holes. I realize this is gonna be a lot of up and down from the top of the trailer down, but it's crucial to keep double checking and triple checking all of your measurements to make sure you don't get anything wrong in this, so that you have the best rack you could possibly get. Just keep double checking your measurements, and if anything starts to stick out at you like it's wrong, then just stop right there and try to figure it out. But this part is a little bit tedious, and there's just a lot of measuring, keep going back and forth, but it is worth it in the end if you have a project or a rack that you can be proud of. All right, you just saw me lay out everything, and I used 2 drills. I used a center punch to mark the holes, and then I measured again, and I measured again and again. I used a small pilot drill, basically just a really tiny drill, just to get the hole going, and then I went through my toolbox and I found this other drill, which I was looking for that specific size, because what I thought about doing was lining up the other piece and then center punching through the piece, and you can see how tight this fits. So I'm gonna center punch onto the next piece the complete layout. So I think that that's gonna work out really well. So I just used my calipers to measure this diameter, and then this one was pretty close, within a couple thousandths of an inch, so good enough. And to actually take it up to the 5/16 size, I'll use this drill, which is another size up, and then I'll use the final drill here. They actually drill pretty easy when you're going step by step instead of just all at once. If you don't have all the drills, or you don't have drills that are in between sizes, then you're just gonna have to go all at once, but this definitely worked out well. So basically all I'm gonna do is line these up. I'll probably put one of the 5/16 bolts through here and through there, and then I'll clamp it all the way down, and I'll just transfer the punches. And I'm thinking about doing it on the mounting side too, because the mounts are pretty close. Let me slide this one down. And I was just using a magnet to tell me, but if you look from the top, you could see they're pretty dead on. And then you go to the next one and see, this is where I was kind of leaning over more. So I think if I just went 24 to here, so basically 24 on center, and just transfer that all the way down. Like, see, here's the next one. This one's a little bit more off, but I believe it's because I wasn't shifting the magnet over enough. Because out of all of them, I know this one is the most accurate. So I'm just going to base everything kind of go 24 to that way, and then 24 to this way. And then what I'll do is, similar how I'm transferring the holes right here, I'll transfer the holes over there. And how I'm figuring out the depth here of how far in I need to go, there's a screw, try to get to it. There's a screw all the way at the top, right there, that I unscrewed to figure out how thick the wall was. And that screw is 1 inch deep, and it doesn't even touch the angle iron on the inside. So I'm gonna go 1.5 inches in, and I think that can get me exactly where I need to be. So yeah, I might double check that before I mark those out, triple check it actually. But for now, I'm going to put one of these bolts through. So that completely lines it up. I'll put another one through on the back side, and I'll put one of my clamps here, locking this together. And then I'll probably put another clamp somewhere in the middle, but then every time I'm center punching, I'll probably put a clamp right where I'm center punching. But I think that that'll give me a really fast layout, and I won't have to spend all the time measuring, but I'll double check my measurements before I drill. But all right, back to the time lapse. All right, so right here I've determined that the dimensions on both sides for the mounting to the trailer itself are close enough to just move forward with it, and then I have the idea to just transfer all of the dimensions from one side to the other through the holes. So the one side on the holes, they're not fully drilled out, so then that way the center punch fits in there really tight. I think I've already explained that, but this saved me probably a lot of time, and you can also make sure that all of the holes are in the exact same spot if you're drilling through one side to get to the other. So this worked out really well. All right, so just a quick little tip here. So as you can see, I flipped these so both bottoms are facing the same way. I've already drilled out one side to the drill size that my center punch fits in, and I have it all clamped down. Since my measurements are indicating that it has to be really close to this wall to tie in to the to those girders that are going across, I'm having to go 1 3/4 inches in, because I unscrewed that bolt and I stuck the end of a drill in there, and it went in 1/4 inch. So this should give me a 1/2 inch in of bite, because the big 5/16 bolt, you don't want that all the way to the edge. It's just going to bend the metal, rip it around. So 1/2 inch in, that should be good of engagement. But so now I'm going to center punch all these and then drill everything out. All right, this is it, the home stretch. Final drilling. All of the holes will be in at this point, and we could start finally bolting everything together on top of the trailer for, I don't know if I'd say a final mock-up, but like a really solid mock-up. So I'm pretty excited about that, and everything's starting to come together. This part is so satisfying, seeing the holes you drilled that you've been measuring for like weeks from what it seems like, finally starting to pull everything together and creating your own roof rack. Okay, she's all bolted up. Luckily, all of my holes were good. And the drill walked a little bit on one of those, but it didn't seem to matter. So all of these screwed in, and I didn't have to open any up. I'm glad I went all the way to the top, because you can, let me see if I can get the camera that low. You could see right there, maybe a 1/2 inch before it touches. And with the weight of the panels and just fluctuations, I didn't want this banging into the roof. But you can see right there, bigger gap, about the same, a little bit bigger. So pretty happy about all that. The next thing I'm going to do is get this thing exactly where it needs to be, lined up to the edge. So this relative to the trailer. So get it exactly where it needs to be. The back all squared up, the front all squared up, and then I'm going to double check this hole, but I'll probably run a small drill in, make sure I'm hitting where I think I'm hitting, especially like on this one where I can definitely see where I'm hitting. So I'm going to do that. So basically I'm just going to square it up, make sure it's all good, and then probably take it back apart, take all this tape off. Acetone will get this off, the numbering they put on the aluminum. Probably take all that off, deburr any of the edges, maybe Scotch-Brite the whole thing. Not sure. I definitely think it's not going to be easier to build it up here, because when I was messing around with the panel, and if you see exactly how I'm standing right now, I'm standing on the top. I mean, the ladder could go higher, but I'm standing on the top of a ladder. Like right here is about 8 feet, and I'm 6 feet tall, so you can imagine like it's pretty high up to be lifting a panel. And then the T slots for the panel being way over here And then the next one being even a little bit farther, making sure everything locks in. And then all the wire, routing all the wire. So I feel like I'd rather build it on the ground and then see about hoisting it up. Also on the ground, I feel like I could just get around it easier and work above it, work underneath it, put wiring down underneath here, tie wrap it in. I feel like it's going to be a better way to go. Oh, the other thing, I put these 2 pieces of tape right here for the glands. So I think I'm going to try to do the glands right here. Those are so the wiring can come through this. So I'll line those up. You'll see it in a video coming up. Right here is one of the beams. I think that's going to be almost it until I disassemble. The other thing, I still need to blow all these out, and then I need to run I think alcohol through it, make sure all that oil is gone, and then I'm going to red Loctite these all in. So next step will be just getting everything squared up and then running some small drills through this, but I'm really relieved this part is done. All right. Thanks for watching this video. I know it might be getting a little tedious, but it is worth the wait. In the next video, we measure and drill all the holes for the glands, and I show you how I kind of negotiate those underneath the solar panels and in between one of the beams that's going across. And we drill all the mounting holes through the 90-degree rail into the trailer, and I show you what I do, the drills that I use, and why I use them. And in the video after the next one, we finally build the whole roof rack completely. All the solar panels, wire the whole thing, and I show you the cheap idea I had to actually hoist this whole thing up to get it on top of the trailer, and I think you're not going to want to miss it because it's pretty cool. So if you're enjoying the video content, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the videos. Thanks for sticking around. It really means a lot to us.